Hey guys, further on to the video about how to check for a new candle, I think it's a good idea to then also extend that into how to check for a new day. So we'll use the EA from where we put the code for how to check for a new candle, and if you haven't watched that video, you can go back to the playlist and check that out. Let's convert it into how to check for a new day. So in the previous video, we had written how to check for a new candle. We're just going to change the codes now to how to check if it's a new day. Now instead of the static date time previous time when we were looking for a new candle, we're gonna have to go for an MQL date time. We're gonna define two variables. One is gonna be called time, which is the time now, and then we're gonna call it the previous time, which was the time previous. In fact, for this example, we're just going to define MQL date time as time, which is basically an MQL format of what the date looks like. Then the next thing we need is we need to change the structure of the time in, and we're going to take the time current, which is the current time on the current candle, and we're going to deconstruct it or change the structure of that into the MQL date time format variable called time. And the way to do it is you basically go time to structure, meaning you're taking the time, the current time, and you're going to change it to the format of MQL date time by passing the information on to the MQL variable that we have defined here as MQL date time. Once we have that, then the thing which we can do is we can look at, now you can see that if I go time, then I can basically deconstruct the time into day of the week, hour, minute, month, whichever way I want it. And this is very useful because what we're going to do is we're going to create a static variable, and we're going to call it, or we're going to create a static integer variable, and we're going to call it the date previous, and let's call it 0. So the date previous is 0. And then we're gonna go create another one, which is an integer of date now, and we're gonna take it as time dot day. So this is the time, which is an MQL date time structure now, and we'll basically say that the date now is the day of the deconstruction of the variable that we have defined here, time. Once we have that, then it becomes very simple, because we can simply go that if the date previous is not equal to date now, then we know that it's a new day. And in that case, what we do is then we set the date previous to date now, and we return true. So simply we take the current time, or we first create a variable, MQL date time variable, and call it whatever you want to call it. Then we take the current time, the time current, and using the time to struct function, we take this time and we convert it into MQL date time format and pass it on to the variable that we have defined here. Then we start the previous date as 0. So the first time that the system comes here to check, the previous date is 0. And then it goes and then it looks at, okay, well, this time, so date now is time.day. So whatever is the date now. And then because it's going to be different than 1, so the first time that the system is going to run, it's going to look and it's going to go, okay, well, yes, date time previous, which is 0, is not equal to date now, because date now will have a date now. And in that case, it's a new day. But the next time it will come, it will check again. And now the date previous is the date now, because we have set it to date now. And until the time that the date changes, it will continue to go that this test is not true, so it will return false. But when the date will change again, then it will come here, and the previous date will be the last date that we had passed on. And now when we will look at time, and it will deconstruct the day from the time and pass it to date now, then this is not going to be equal, so it will be a new day, so it will return true. But before it returns true, we want to set the previous date to date today, so that the next time it comes and checks again, it doesn't work. And now let's check it the way that we did it for the new candle. So if we go, if it's not is new day, so anything above it return. So everything above this code is going to be run every time, and everything below this line is only going to be run if it is a new day, because what we're saying here is if it's not a new day, then return, meaning exit the onTick function. So just exit, do not run anything below. So only if it's a new day, then it's not going to return and it will run the new code. And let's say it's a new day. So let's compile it. We don't have any error, and now we can run it. And then let's see, it was a new day on the 3rd of March. Now when this candle finishes and the new candle opens, we get it's a new day. Now back again to the function. What we're doing here once again is we define an MQL datetime variable. Let's call it whatever you want. Then we use the time current, which is the current time now, and we use the time to struct to pass on that and to the variable that we have defined here, but now it's going to be in MQL datetime format. Then we start with the previous day 0, and the date now is this time MQL datetime format dot day, whatever is the day of the month or whatever is the day here. And then we check if these two values are not the same, then it basically means it's a new day. And once we know that it's a new day, we change to, or we pass on the now date to previous date, so then the next time the system comes, it does not get the one is not equal to the other one on the same day. Only when there is a new day, then it's going to happen. And here on tick, we go, if it's not a new day, return, basically meaning that when the code comes here, and if it's not a new day, it will exit the function. It will not run anything below. And this way we can separate all the codes here are going to be run on every tick, and all the codes here are only going to be run when there is a new day. Now, to get a little bit more idea, you can also check out my other video, which is how to check for new candle, because it follows exactly the same format. Now, until next time, guys, ciao.